he's dangerous. He's got dynamite in both fists.
This is a big fight for boxing fans all around the world.
How to exploit Joe's weaknesses and recognise his strengths.
Frank Warren suggested that the winner of this fight will go on.
Oun Abbas Hussein here for Seconds Out, here with Jamie Moore. Jamie, you've got the green wristband on now. Yeah. You've done your quarantine yesterday. How's things? How's the bubble treating you?
All right, yeah. I think this is the 6th one I've done now. So I'm definitely getting sick of sitting in that room for 24 hours or for however long it is and waiting for clearance. But 6 out of 6 so far. So,
you know what? You've got to put yourself in a sort of the privileged position that you're in, because there's a lot of fighters, a lot of trainers that probably haven't come out this year in 2020. So 6 out of 6, whilst you're sitting in a room, you're still privileged.
Do you know what? Honestly, I've said this as well a few times. It's just, I feel guilty in a way that we've been allowed, or we've been fortunate enough to have 6 fights out, because, God, you see people struggling, not in every walk of life at this horrible time. But in boxing especially, you know, it's one of them sports where unless you're on a TV show, which is, when you're on small shows, which I was when I first started out with Steve Wood, your ambition was to get with a big promoter and get on a TV slot and stuff like that. So that's sort of magnified times 10 now. These fighters who are in that situation where they're on these small shows, they're unable to get the opportunity to perform even on a small stage for a manager like Steve Wood was mine to then go to a Frank Warren or Eddie Hearn and go, listen, my guy's just beat such a body, he looked really good doing it, I'll send you a film of it, do you think you can put him on? They're not even in that situation to do it. So it's horrible, and really the whole situation for the last 6 months, I won't say the full 9 months because I understood about it at the beginning, but for the last 6 months has frustrated the life out of me, and it's knocked me sick seeing how many people's lives they've ruined. It's disgusting.
Well, actually, I was just talking to Kevin Murray, probably one of the managers up in the Northwest, and a lot of his boys are not out as well. You know, you know, and some of them are really talented kids. You know, 2020 could have been that year of progression for them and maybe pushing on for titles, but. Like everything in the world at the moment, everything's been standing still for a long while. But you're here, your fighters fighting. Jack Catterall is fighting. How good is it just to see Jack back into the ring? Because a lot of fight fans know how skillful he is, how great a boxer he is, but we've not seen him. So how good is it just to get him back into the ring?
It's great for him to get back out. He's been the most disciplined, dedicated fighter I've ever come across, and I honestly mean that. In terms of, you know, during a fight camp, there's a few who I could name, you know, Tommy Coyle, Carl Frampton, Stephen Ward, just massively disciplined when they're in camp. I've never come across anyone who's in Jack's position. You know, he's mandatory challenger for the world title, yet he's in the gym every single day when there's not even a sniff of a date coming up, yet he's improving himself, he's working on his weaker parts of his style, he's helping other fighters out with sparring. You know, I've done a lot of tech sparring with Carl and with Akib Fiaz, building up to their 2 fights, just to help him out, just because he knows it's doing him good. You know, we were speaking before about people questioning whether he'll be ring rusty because he's not fought for 12 months. It's like, I'm 99% certain you won't see an ounce of it, because he's not giving himself chance to get rusty. He's been in there, his timing's always been spot on. Every time he gets in the first round of sparring, his timing's there because it's never gone away. So you know, I can't sing his praises enough for the dedication he's put in, and you know, I really believe that he's going to turn in a performance on Saturday, which will not only give him that extra sort of confidence where he'll be able to look at himself and, you know, it was worth that last 12 months where I've been in the gym, it was worth it. But also, he's not the sort of opponent where it's going to be a standout statement performance where people go, oof, you know, he can go and beat the winner of Taylor or Ramirez. But for Jack, it'll mean the world to him because he's been so frustrated, and I feel like he's probably going to let it out against this Hoyer tomorrow night, and I won't like to be him.
Talking about Hoyer, what have you seen of him? I know normally sort of the trainer sits down, sees what the opposition's like. Normally the boxer just relaxes and leaves that to yourself. What have you seen of him? Because he's got a decent enough record.
Decent enough record. I've seen 2 of his fights, and he's not bad. You know, he's tall, he's rangy, decent jab, good feet. But as soon as I saw him, I thought that's the style which is going to make Jack look good. He likes a lot of body. He's a brutal body puncher when he gets going, Jack. And timing, you know, big tall fighters who like to establish the jab. A fighter with good timing and distance give him nightmares because they'll tend to fall in and walk into the shots. And that's probably one of Jack's best assets, is his timing and his judgment at distance, and he controls the distance so well with his feet. So yeah, as soon as there was 3 opponents, all roughly with similar records and stuff and stages of the career. But as soon as I seen him, I thought he's probably the best out of the 3 what they sent, but also the more stylistically suited to Jack.
Let's talk about this whole WBO situation. 2018, Jack was supposed to be fighting for the WBO title. 2019 came, maybe that was his year, it wasn't. 2020's come and it's not again. How frustrating has it been for yourself, for Jack, you know, just for the team in the sense that you're there, but it's there within a grasp, but just not there enough?
It is frustrating, and nobody can be any more frustrated than Jack, you know. And like I say, it would have been easy for him to sort of say to his missus, come on, we're going to Australia for 6 months because nothing's going to happen. And I wouldn't have blamed him. But he wants to succeed that much, and he loves this sport that much that he's not allowed himself to go away from it. Probably thinking, if I go that far away, I might never get back there. And far from it, he's not sort of gone that way to come back to where he was. He's actually gone forward and improved himself. So what more can you ask of a fighter that, you know, if you turn around and said, listen, for the next 12 months, you're not going to box. So you make a decision, what do you want to do? Now, most fighters who are always dieting, who are always hungry, who are always wanting to go out for a beer with their mates, would go, sound, I'll have 6 months off. He's been in the gym every day. He made the conscious choice of making himself a better fighter than he was before. That's massive to me. You know, I can't fault him at all, and I just hope he reaps the rewards from it. And I feel like over the next 6 months now, he'll get his opportunity and he'll come good for it.
In regards to the opportunity, we know that there's been a step aside made. Jack's agreed to a step aside for Josh Taylor to fight Jose Ramirez, which is going to be a great fight. But looking into the media and looking at certain interviews, you know, there's talk about Josh Taylor possibly moving up if once he wins the fight, or if he wins the fight, moving up. But has there been any agreement with yourself? Has there been any sort of talks with Josh Taylor to say, listen, if you win, do that last fight with Jack Catterall, then move up?
They're under the same management, and the deal was if Josh wins, then he'll defend against Jack. So you know, that's not an agreement in writing or whatever. So not as far as I'm aware, but it's an agreement in principle, which was enough for Jack. And you know, Josh Taylor will be the undisputed junior welterweight champion, and he wants a homecoming. If he wants to move up and get those bigger fights at welterweight, he's going to have to go to America. So he deserves a homecoming as well. Let's have it right. Josh Taylor's been fantastic, unbelievable fighter, sound lad by all accounts, and yeah, you know, I wish him nothing but the best. I really do. And all I want is for Jack to come through Saturday night unscathed. I want Josh Taylor to beat Ramirez because it makes sense for my guy. And then what a massive occasion that is. And I know Jack will be up against it, but I've always said it, the better fighter Jack fights, the better you'll see him, because, you know, Carl Frampton always says he stays behind and watches Jack spar. He never does that with anyone else. And, you know, he's great to watch when he's on form, and I feel like the better guy he's in with, the better he'll perform.
Hopefully 2021 is going to be a big year for Jack, and obviously it starts off on Saturday night, providing he wins, and then everything sort of rolls in motion from there. I want to talk about Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez, and whilst we're talking about it, talk to me about that fight. How do you see that one playing out?
It's a great fight. It really is a good fight. Ramirez is a good, solid guy, big. I met him in Vegas actually when Carbox last time he was at the after fight party, and he's the same size as me, and I was a light middleweight, so he's a big guy for a 10-stoner. But Josh Taylor's just got that extra something, I feel. You know, gears. His work rate's phenomenal. He's a tough old bastard, and you know, as good as he is a boxer, he can mix it as well. So I don't think Ramirez will have his own way in terms of the strength department, which is a lot of the thing he relies on. You know, he relies on that work rate and that pressure. Beautiful left hook, which is not always very successful with southpaws. So even though I think it's a close-ish fight, I feel like Taylor he'll be nip and tuck early, and I feel like by the 6th round, Taylor will have his foothold and he'll go through the gears, and I think he'll beat him on points.
Cool. You sort of made your prediction quite clear with that one, but the fight on Saturday night with Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce, I've spoken to a lot of people, and nobody can really give me a clear answer on who the winner's going to be. Go on, Jamie, talk to me. What's going to happen?
I'm going to give you no clearer an answer than anyone else, and that's the reason it's a great fight, because when you get a fight like this where you really don't know, especially when, you know, you'll see people who are big Joyce fans or big Dubois fans, and they're going, it's a tricky fight, it's a dodgy fight. So and this is the sort of fight what boxing needs more often. But you know, I'm like everyone else. I feel like Dubois early, or the longer it goes, the more it's Joyce's fight, especially with his work rate and down the stretch. I just feel like maybe Dubois can get him early, but you know, it's not with any sort of certainty.